Welcome to the Duty to Report Practice Guideline online education module. This module is based on our practice support tool, Duty to Report Practice Guideline, located on our website. In this module, we will discuss the mandate of the college, the legal and ethical obligations for nurses to report, the employer duty, the duty to report to other agencies, how and when to take action, and finally, a wrap-up of key points from the presentation. The Nova Scotia College of Nursing mandate is to serve and protect the public interest, preserve the integrity of the nursing profession, maintain public confidence in the ability of the nursing profession to regulate itself, and set and monitor standards for the profession. LPNs, RNs, and NPs registered and licensed with NSCN provide nursing services to Nova Scotians. As self-regulated professionals, nurses are responsible and accountable to practice safely, competently, and ethically. As part of meeting your standards of practice and code of ethics, nurses have a legal and ethical duty to report to the appropriate regulatory body if they have reasonable grounds that any healthcare provider has exhibited incompetent or unethical practice, conduct unbecoming, or impaired practice. In Nova Scotia, nurses have the legal duty under the Nursing Act to report to NSCN or the appropriate body if they have reasonable grounds to believe another care provider has engaged in professional misconduct, including sexual misconduct, incompetence or conduct unbecoming the profession, is incapacitated, or is practicing in a manner that otherwise constitute a danger to the public. In situations where the care provider in question is not regulated by a governing body, the nurse is expected to report to the provider's employer. Nurses have the ethical duty, according to the respective code of ethics, to take action to ensure a client's safety and report to appropriate authorities when unethical or incompetent care is suspected. Nurses must be attentive to signs that another care provider is unable to perform their duties, regardless of reason. The legal and ethical duty to report arises from the nurse's accountabilities to provide competent and ethical care to clients. Reporting to a regulatory body or employer in good faith that a situation may be unsafe or unethical is not defamation or whistleblowing, but participation in a legislated regulatory process. Nurses who fail to report these situations may be in violation of their standards of practice and code of ethics. Employers of registrants have a duty to report to NSCN when a nurse is terminated or resigns from their employment due to allegations of professional misconduct, conduct unbecoming the profession, incompetence, or incapacity, or a nurse voluntarily resigns from their position before they have successfully completed a professional practice remediation plan. There is a legal obligation to report specific situations to an external authority such as law enforcement or to another agency as required by the provincial or federal legislation. As noted here in the example, the Children and Family Services Act requires nurses to report child abuse, and the Adult Protection Act requires nurses to report an adult in need of protection. Nurses are responsible to know when and to whom to report situations as appropriate. For more information on duty to report related to provincial or federal legislation, see the resource in the Practice Guideline on Jurisprudence Information. Regardless of the legal and ethical requirements, these situations can be distressing. When faced with a situation, your primary concern is always the needs and safety of the client. This decision tree is a tool that is designed to assist you in determining what actions you should take when you encounter situations which may require you to report. The tool looks at professional practice, at-risk behavior, reporting to the regulator. Before we start to review the tool, we would like you to note, If at any time while using the tool you require assistance, you should further explore the situation with a trusted colleague, your manager, or an NSCN practice consultant at practice@nscn.ca. If you are concerned that a client's safety may be at risk if there is a delay in reporting, you should consult an NSCN professional conduct consultant at conduct@nscn.ca. For information on what is required to make a formal complaint to NSCN, see our website or contact a professional conduct consultant at conduct@nscn.ca. We will discuss the steps to take when there is a concerning behavior, yet it is not resulting in unsafe care, breach of ethical standards, or placing clients at risk. The first step will be to start in the middle column where the nurse witnesses concerning behavior. From there, ask yourself these 3 questions. Did the behavior result in unsafe care or unsafe practice? Did the behavior breach ethical standards? Did the behavior put the client at risk? If you answer no, the care is not unsafe, there is no breach of ethical standards, and clients are not being placed at risk. Then you will go to the Professional Practice Issue box. Here you will find a link to the Professional Practice Issue Resolution Framework that can help you understand the issue from a practice point of view. Please review this framework to aid in understanding the issue and prepare for a conversation with the healthcare provider and your manager. We would encourage you to discuss your concerns with the health provider involved if it is appropriate to do so. If not, be sure to also seek the support of your manager about the professional practice issue that you have identified. If the issue is resolved after your conversation, then it is concluded. However, if it is not resolved, then you would proceed to the at-risk behavior box. Here you will see that the steps to take include immediately ensuring the client is safe, reviewing the professional practice issue resolution framework, discussing your concerns with your manager, colleague, or an NSCN practice or conduct consultant, providing your concern in writing to your manager. If the issue is resolved after these steps, then there are no further steps to take. In the next slide, we will discuss the steps to take when the issue is not resolved. At this juncture, if the issue is not resolved, then proceed back to the middle column and the last box. Here you will see questions that are related to the client's safety, client records, abuse, and healthcare provider capacity. If the answers to these questions result in there being no harm to the client, no falsification of records, no abuse, and no capacity issues with the healthcare provider, proceed to the at-risk behavior box that provides guidance to you on ensuring client safety, reviewing the professional practice issue resolution framework, and discussing with your manager with documentation in writing. If there is conclusion following this step, the issue is resolved. If there is no resolution at this juncture, the next step is to report to the regulator. Take immediate action to protect clients from harm. Report to your manager and file report to be filed with the regulator. Report to the appropriate regulator. Information to make a formal complaint to NSCN can be found on our website or contact a professional conduct consultant at conduct@nscn.ca. In closing, key points. Client safety is always your priority. Duty to report applies to professional misconduct including sexual misconduct, incompetence or conduct unbecoming of the profession, incapacity, or practice that is a danger to the public. As part of a nurse's legal and ethical duty, reporting is an obligation that we must all adhere to. There may be circumstances where you can address the situation yourself or with the help of your manager at an organizational level. Nurses are required to escalate the issue up the chain if you or your manager cannot resolve the issue. If it remains unresolved, you have a duty to report to the appropriate regulatory body. You may have additional legal obligations to report based on other provincial or federal legislation. Thank you for participating in this online education module. The Duty to Report Practice Guideline document that has been used in this module can be found on our website. we encourage you to reach out to a practice team member at practice@nscn.ca should you have any questions.